The Wandering Mass by FoggyGlassEye. Officer Daniels was on his break when the call came in over the radio. The people flooding the emergency lines were inconsistent in what they described, but the one thing their stories had in common was that some pink something was making its way down Flynn Lane.
This is Daniels. I'm only a few minutes away, heading there now. Roger that.
Dispatch confirmed. Daniels turned onto Flynn Lane a few minutes later. The residents were all standing outside their homes, staring off in the direction that the something was going. Some on their lawns, others on the sidewalk. He followed the direction of their stares, noting as he did so that a newly wet trail in the middle of the street was pointing the way as well. From the distance, he could make out a pink shape ahead. It looked nearly as big as his cruiser, and it was rolling down the street slowly. No, Daniels realized as he got closer, it's not rolling, it's pushing itself forward from the back, with the small tendrils coming off the large thing and the darker middle of it. Daniels could squint and see a jellyfish. He got out of the car, daring to take a closer look.
Careful.
One of the residents called out from near her front door, holding a landline to her chest. She started speaking into the phone again, no doubt calling 911, despite Daniels having already arrived. Daniels walked around the jellyfish-like mass, which was quite easy considering that it was moving so slowly. He tried to get a closer look as it inched closer, and saw what looked like dark chunks near the center of it. The mass of darker insides he knew must be the organs. But what were the small bits? The mass stopped moving forward. Daniel was so close, he could reach out and touch it. He leaned in, and only when he felt the coldness wrap around his shin did he realize that a tendril had crept forward and taken hold. With great force, it pulled Daniels to the ground. He screamed. The pain from his leg matched only by the throbbing in the back of his head, which had bounced off the pavement. He tried to pull away, but the pink mass had a vice-like grip. Daniels grabbed at the tendril with one hand, and another tendril came out of the creature, wrapping itself around his wrist and pulling him closer still. The pink mass, as it touched Daniel's skin, burned on contact. He cried out in pain, and his screams were interrupted by a third tendril wrapping around his head, covering his mouth. As his lips and cheeks began to burn away, the pain unbearable, Daniel stared at the creature's darker insides. From this close, he could make out bits and chunks of bone, slowly broken down perhaps, digested over time. The larger dark mass floating in the center was the body of a small child, which had already begun to break down.